Primary school where 87 underage girls are thought to have been sexually assaulted since February this year. Police arrested a 57-year-old security guard who is currently in custody. The principal and her management team have also been suspended after it reportedly took them 7 months to report the abuse. To talk more about this, in studio with us, we've got Dr Shaheda Omar, the Director of Clinical Services at the Teddy Bear Clinic, and she has been working with these children and the school since this was all revealed. Thank you so much. It's not a nice occasion to be seeing you, Shaheda, but thank you for coming into studio.
Thank you.
First, I suppose we might as well start with that question of the day. You know, some of these kids, we're talking maybe 5 years old, some of the
Grade R, so we're looking at 6-year-old children, children.
If you're leaving that talk until they're 10 or hitting puberty, would you say that's a bit too late?
Indeed, Leanne, it's rather too late. We actually need to start much earlier, already when they are developing their vocabulary, when they are developing their language skills. As soon as they can start
speaking is what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah. The moment they start speaking, it's talking about their body parts, their different body parts, the functions of the body parts, talking about safe and unsafe touches. Of course, age-appropriate language with children of that young age. And also playing games with the child during routine bath times, bedtimes, you know, playing the what-if game. What if mommy touched you there? What if daddy touched you there? But demonstrating to them what is a safe touch, what is an unsafe touch, and talking about good secrets, bad secrets, because we do not talk about good touches and bad touches, because the bad touches can feel good in terms of the way our bodies are programmed and designed. And we do not want to instill guilt feelings in children. Sex and sex education should be about propagating healthy sexuality, and they need to feel good about it. It's promoting long-term positive connotations to sexuality.
Indeed. I mean, one of the simplest lessons I think I was told was, you know, you tell your little one whatever your costume covers.
Indeed, the parts of the body that your swimming costume would cover, those are the parts. Nobody's allowed to touch you.
Absolutely. Even from as early as possible. But again, it's quite a difficult one. Cultural sensitivities and things like that. So, but thank you for your bit of advice.
We're doing that already in the schools. We're going out at ECD facilities and engaging with children.
Yeah. I want to talk about the specific school now and how this whole incident should have been handled. I mean, this was reported in February, and then they tried to hide it. Well, you know, what do you think should have been done from that moment?
Well, of course, there's an educator's protocol, and these members of staff certainly did not follow that protocol. It had to be reported immediately to the HOD, to the principal, to the district, but they didn't follow procedures. And of course, as you've so beautifully highlighted, that people were just saving their own skin. It was about protecting themselves, shielding themselves, and therefore did not make the relevant disclosures to the relevant authorities, and they transgressed laws here, because we know that the Children's Act clearly stipulates that if you have any knowledge, suspicion or doubt, you are not morally obliged, you are legally obliged. But even the Sexual Offences Act speaks to that. Section 54 clearly stipulates that it has to be reported to a child designated organization or the police, but it has to be reported.
Yeah, and that's the reality. Is this was never reported. It was swept under the carpet. The kids were told not to say anything, and the security guard or scholar patrol guard was kept on.
Well, these educators failed the children. In fact, they were complicit, and if you look at the whole situation, they were responsible for secondary victimization and trauma to these children.
Yeah. What's been your role in this whole saga?
Well, our role has been to basically provide debriefing to the children, to all the victims, but also to the other children who may not have been direct victims, but are indirect victims, and also trauma debriefing to the caregivers, the primary caregivers or parents of the children. And we are going to engage with all the learners at school. We have our workshops and talks that we roll out to the children, focusing on their rights and responsibilities, and of course making them aware of good secrets, bad secrets, and where they can report, and what they should do in these kind of situations and circumstances.
Yeah. One thing you told me that was a little bit shocking earlier is it's 87 you know of, that this number could grow again.
Indeed, I think what one needs to understand is that disclosure is not something that always happens immediately. You know, disclosure is a process. It's not a single event. Some children may make direct, purposeful disclosures. Others may make indirect disclosures, making reference to their friends, their peers, or others may act out. So it's the accidental disclosures that may also surface. And some children, Leanne, the realities may never disclose.
Yeah. Tell me, it's a very big number as it stands right now. How sure are you that all of these children were affected in one way or another? You know, sometimes kids are also quite sort of, they can tell a story and whether or not it's true or not. I hate to ask that question,
okay,
but
so
I think
if we
a lot of people may be
false
thinking that.
allegations, yes. What would the motivation be? What would the child gain from making up such a serious allegation?
Yeah.
And children would make allegations about, you know, other things, but sexual abuse is very serious. And if we look at some of the details and the graphic details around the sexual abuse, definitely there is no reason to doubt these children.
No reason at all. No reason at all. And I know that
it's
this
age inappropriate knowledge. I think we need to understand that it's age inappropriate knowledge.
They shouldn't even be knowing about these things. Shaheda, we're going to have to invite you to come back because I know there's so much more. There's going to be a case coming up. How do you prepare them? And I know you've been counselling the parents
as
well.
Yes, we're already looking at the court preparation for these child victims, which will again be another long process and a journey to healing for the child and the family.
All right, we leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us. Dr. Shaheda Omar is the Director of Clinical Services at the Teddy Bear Clinic. Thank you for talking to us. Let's take a break. News after this.